Hi everyone. Good evening. How are you guys today? Today I'm going to share another RPA function, which is really good. I would say that people who join this department will be joining what do you call this, the GL team, General Ledger team. Okay, so our topic today is looking at R2R, okay, which is Record-to-Report function in the finance department embedded with robotic process automation. So today we're going to look at record to report. So basically in an organization, usually there are three major departments, which are in my previous videos, we talked about P2P, purchase to pay, and then O2C, order to cash. And today, record to report, R2R. Okay. And I would say, like, if you have, worked in each of these departments for 3 years, you can rotate and you can see how it goes, for all these functions across because they're all different. Okay, so record to report R2R is the core finance and accounting process. So it is a full cycle of recording business transactions, and the aim is to convert all information into accurate, timely, and meaningful financial reports for internal and external stakeholders. And it ensures the organization's financial data is accurate, complete, and compliant. Here we go again. Record to report, R2R. This includes all business events such as sales, purchases, expenses, payroll, assets, liabilities, and inventory that are posted in the general ledger. Okay, we have here the whole process of R2R. Firstly, recording financial transactions. Next, maintaining the general ledger, performing reconciliations, preparing financial statements, and preparing regulatory reports. I would say that, as a good experience, the process is that maybe you could join the P2P department for about 1 or 2 years and then rotate to O2C and then finally go to R2R, work in R2R. But some would say like, okay, it doesn't matter. I can still start with R2R and move to P2P and then O2C. Well, it depends on each individual, but as you know, R2R is the general ledger. It's like doing all the reporting. So it's good if you, in sequence, you join the P2P and P2P or O2C, any one of that, and before you join R2R. But it doesn't matter, and there's no hard and fast rule. Okay, you can still join R2R initially and then move on to the P2P and O2C to get the required experiences. Okay, let's have a look at the full cycle of R2R. We will start with data collection and transaction recording. Okay, capture of source documents, of invoices, receipts, payroll data. And then we'll move on to posting entries to general ledger and subledgers. Hmm. Subledgers are the AR. AR will be O2C. AP. AP will be P2P. Okay. And then use of journal entries. This is within R2R itself. And then move from subledger to general ledger reconciliation. Okay, and then move on to the trial balance preparation, and finally to the adjusting journal entries. Okay, and then move on to consolidation of financials, if applicable. If you have a parent company and subsidiaries, okay, you need to consolidation accounting. Financial close, okay. Yeah, this is well, all the teams need to perform financial close, okay, monthly, quarterly, annually, even for P2P and O2C, okay. Financial reporting, of course, you need to prepare the profit and loss account, balance sheet, cash flow statement, okay. You see management reports and dashboards, statutory financial statements, okay. Compliance and audit support is okay. You need to comply to IFRS or GAAP depending on the country. Okay, now let's see role of ERP in R2R. R2R Well, for small organizations, you don't have to use ERP. ERP is meant for large companies. And what we're talking about here is we're talking about large companies, multinational companies. And multinational companies need to run the R2R using the ERP. They cannot do it manually. They have to use the ERP. So as you can see, from the previous P2P and O2C, you'll be using SAP, Oracle, Dynamics, NetSuite, and so forth. So I would say like if a company uses SAP, SAP S4HANA, for example, for P2P and O2C, they will have to use the same SAP S4HANA again for R2R. Okay, so what's going to happen in here in ERP? ERP working with R2R is recording all financial transactions, manage the general ledger, automate journal entries, consolidate financial data, and generate financial and compliance reports. Okay, here we go again. SAP S4HANA and Oracle. These are the two main ones. Okay, I would say like if you want to get yourself qualified, you could just choose one, either become a SAP consultant or Oracle consultant. Okay, it's not wise to do both because you'll have your own set of clients and job opportunities. So don't worry. If you have SAP knowledge skills, you can find jobs related to SAP. Same with Oracle. I'm not saying that Microsoft Dynamics, NetSuite, and InfoCloud Suite is not in demand, but the most, I would say, like commonly used ERP system would be ERP systems would be SAP S4HANA and Oracle. Okay, we'll have a look at the ERP modules used in R2R. So if you're working in R2R and you're using the ERP system, SAP and all that, you have to look at the general ledger, accounts payable, account receivable, fixed asset controlling, financial consolidation and reporting tools. So usually R2R people, like when I was working back in Shell, the people in R2R feels like they're the boss. I don't blame them because I was working in P2P that time, and I was the accounting team leader for Shell Philippines, but we were based in Kuala Lumpur, in Shell Kuala Lumpur. And I had to deal with the other team leaders of O2C. I mean, O2C be very down to earth, But when I meet with a team leader of R2R, oh my goodness! I mean, because you don't blame them, they handle all this. Okay, all this are within their control, and they have to make sure it's all correct. And it's not just them looking at their own team members. They could have like within the R2R team maybe about 12 to 15 team members, but they have to look at my team of P2P, which consists about 12 as well, and my other colleague and O2C about 12 as well. So she has to handle, because she's like what you call it, the wrap up department. So they have to take charge of the whole process. Okay, so as you can see here, general ledger GL, central record for all financial transactions, accounts payable, recording outgoing payments, account receivable. So accounts payable is the P2P department, recording outgoing payments, account receivable, O2C, tracking incoming payments, fixed assets. This falls under R2R, solely R2R, general ledger as well, R2R. Fixed assets records depreciation, asset valuations, controlling cost centers, internal reporting allocations, all R2R. Financial consolidation within R2R as well, combines data from multiple entities or countries. And these reporting tools, generating trial balance sheets and all that, it's all within R2R. So you can imagine, I would have a lot of respect for the R2R team leader because she would be doing more things than what I'm doing because I'm just handling the payments. But even that is like a huge task. Okay, now let's have a look at the step-by-step R2R process in ERP. So we have the first one, data collection. Then for data collection, ERP collects transaction data from accounts payable, P2P department, AR, O2C, FA inventory and so forth. Okay, journal entries, ERP posts recurring or manual journals via templates or rules. Maintenance chart of accounts is structured and maintained in ERP. Reconciliations, ERP supports automated reconciliations such as bank intercompany reconciliations. Let's see, trial balance generation, ERP auto-generates trial balances per entity or business unit. Consolidation, ERP consolidates multi-entity or multi-currency results. Financial reporting, ERP produces income statements, balance sheets, and cash flows. And finally, compliance and audit logs, tracks and logs every transaction for audit readiness. Okay. So benefits of ERP and R2R, because we're trying to convince people that you need to have ERP within R2R. Yes, because the benefits would be real time, single source of truth. Okay, yeah, it'd be real time data processing, automation, of course, reduces manual effort in journals, reporting, and reconciliations, compliance, built-in audit trails and financial controls. Yes, faster closing, of course, we need that. For accounting, right? The main issue is closing. You can't imagine like the closing during my time will take about 3 weeks. And now like I'm listening to these people talk like they're saying like it's 3 days. So that is really amazing. I would say like within 3 days, back then I wouldn't know what I mean, we were just still like, finding mistakes, we were struggling, couldn't do it properly and everything. So nowadays we've got a better system, updated system of ERP, and we've got on top of that RPA as well. We don't have that back then. Okay. And the multi-entity support handles consolidation, intercompany and multiple currencies, data accuracy, reduces error-prone manual consolidation and reporting. Challenges of ERP, of course. Okay, with these big systems, we have an issue of complex setup. As you can see, we talked about this during the P2P video and the O2C video as well. It's really complex. So you need the SAP consultant to come and sit with you and maybe run, go live, every time. No, the thing with these MNCs, right? Every time it's like go live. Okay, go live. What date? What time? And then we have to go live across how many countries at the same time. It's like very exciting, exciting times and all that. And otherwise, we won't be doing things in the live, what do you call it, live system. You'll be doing in a dummy system. Okay, dummy system is just a control system where you try to record transactions to see whether it's done properly or not. Okay, but the thing is like if you do the things in dummy environment, if you want to make payments, it wouldn't go to the banks. It wouldn't go to the customers, to the clients and all that. So you can practice within the dummy environment, okay, but you need to go live with the real environment. Okay, so that's why you need to have all the training. Okay, and then we need to have what you call this backup plan. So even in the live session, you can make mistakes. So what should you do? Okay, so training required. Finance teams need training in ERP modules. You need to be trained. Okay, and I would encourage us. I mean, previously, for people to ask questions, and it's okay to make mistakes because the ERP system is really complicated. And of course, we have this issue with garbage in, garbage out. Usually, you think like, no, I did it correctly, but actually, you've done it wrong. Okay, it's one of those things where you can look at the audit trail and say like, there, you made that mistake. Okay, but we don't want to point that out because it's really disheartening because we're trying to make team members happy with their job. So if you keep telling them, see, look at, I checked the audit trail and you did enter it wrongly, but you said you done it right, because they would have this impression that they've done it correctly based on what they understood from the training, but actually they didn't get enough training, I would say. Okay, so back then in Shell we had a once a week training session. Yeah, our training is weekly because you see, the ERP system is really huge and we get new things from our clients, and we have to actually keep up to date. And then we work together with the sub consultants. When they come in, we have to go and sit with them. okay, and just chat with them and see, like, show them all the, stuff that you cannot post on the ERP, okay. Customization costs. Some financial reports may require customization. Okay, all this customization you can share with your SAP consultant, SAP consultant. We were talking about SAP consultant because we used SAP back then, so our consultants are naturally be SAP consultants. Okay, why embed RPA into R2R? Okay, now the question is asking why we need to have robots, um, you know, into R2R when you're already having a very good ERP system. We talked about this in P2P and in O2C, and we know that RPA is something that what we need now. It's like your new staff that can actually work 24 hours. Okay, and you can not just, well, you can't train them, but you can program them in which way that you want it to work. Okay, so you can ask them to do journal postings, reconciliations, intercompany eliminations, report generation, freeing accountants for strategic analysis and compliance oversight. I would say that accountants will not lose their skills. You still need to have it because you would need to control these bots because you are the one that programmed them and to make sure that it works properly. And if there are upgrades, for example, if you're working with a taxation system, and as you know that tax, the tax rules, tax rates changes every year. So you need to update the system or you need to update the robots. You can't tell the robots, okay, increase to 10%, increase to 20%. You have to go and do the programming, okay, and change it to 10%, 20%, okay? So you still need to know how to do the tax computations and so forth. Okay, let's have a look at the how R2R is better with RPA enhancements. Okay, let's have a look here on we have three columns here. On the left-hand column, we have the R2R function, and then the middle column is the traditional task, ERP, I would say. Okay, the ERP, and then we have on the very right is the RPA automation. So as you can see, let's see the first one, data collection and extraction. So ERP would, well, the human working with the ERP would gather data from ERP, Excel, and subsystems. And start processing. Okay, but the thing is, like, you can ask the bots to do that. So the bots will extract data from multiple sources and normalize it. And same with journal entries posting. We have manual posting of recurring entries. Okay, that's what we did before. We are posting like crazy from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Not even, I think it's 9 to 9, I think 9 to 10 p.m. Yeah, we were working overtime, and it just, it's like the norm. Like, you can't go back at 5. Like, oh wow, you can't go back at 5 because there's huge loads of um invoices. And I would say, like, those the colleagues that I work with, we have people working for Shell Australia, so they would have to follow the Australian time and the timing differences. So you can't expect to go back. I mean, if you want to go back, they're still working, something like that. Okay, so that was the situation back then. But I guess now with the RPA, you can actually, like, monitor in a way. Tomorrow morning, actually, you just like monitor the robots to do the certain functions and let it run, and you can check on the results tomorrow morning. Okay, to see to what extent you actually robotize, I would say, like, or um how do you say, automate. So robotize, sorry for that. Automate your functions, because some companies, they are not able to automate 100%. Okay, maybe due to cost or due to skills of the staff. Okay, because you have to do coding and you have to do it really well, so to fully automate the transactions. Otherwise, you still have people sitting there posting the journals, posting the invoices, and so forth. Okay. Intercompany reconciliation and processing, ERP logs transactions across entities, ERP consolidates intercompany data. But now you can have bots to match and reconcile intercompany balances. Bots flag mismatches. They can do all this. Okay, once you program them. trial balance review, pull and compare balances manually. RPA runs trial balance reports and flags discrepancies. Okay, balance sheet reconciliation, reconcile GL accounts monthly. Oh my God, I mean, you have to do this manually, or you rather have the bots to match the transactions, flag the differences, and log outcomes. I would say you still need to sit there with the bots and see um, what are the things that the bots are doing wrong. And it could be that you need to have system enhancement, or it's probably your coding that's wrong. Okay, either or. Okay, and maybe you need to go for extra coding training. Okay, or you need to meet with your SAP consultant, RPA consultant. We have RPA consultants as well. Okay, consolidation, manually consolidates from multiple ledgers. Bots compile reports from multiple entities. Okay, financial reporting and report generation, create income statement, balance sheet. So for the bots, okay, RPA populates reporting templates or BI. BI is the Power BI dashboards. RPA automates running reports, formatting, and emailing to stakeholders. Okay, and lastly, we have the audit trail creation. So ERP traditionally would document and justify all entries. ERP tracks transactions. But now you have these bots, okay? Bots would log and archive all activity with timestamps, okay? Um, so thank you, robots. Because the thing is not, it's not like if you let the bots do it, then you don't have to do anything. It's not like that because you are still monitoring the bots, okay? Because the bots are not perfect, okay? And the coding will not be perfect, okay? But you need to make sure that your transaction actually works. I mean, whatever you code and ask the bots to do, actually probably you need to double check it 2 or 3 times, before you run it because maybe it's not going to work out, okay? Okay, now advantages of integrating RPA into R2R. So you imagine you already have the ERP, SAP or Oracle. I would say like those are the most common ERP systems. Then you will have the RPA bots attached to the SAP system and the Oracle system. Okay, or I would say like Oracle or SAP. The RPA would be attached to that. So what's going to happen is that the accuracy is going to be better, I would say, because humans make errors. I mentioned before, humans can work long hours on the same thing because they will make mistakes. Okay, and speed, well, human speed and robotic speed are two different things. So humans need to take breaks, tea breaks, lunch breaks, breakfast, dinner, just need to get a stretch, walk around the office, some would need to uh, go out and smoke cigarettes outside, you'll see that in most offices. Scalability handles growing transaction volumes with the added staff. So you don't need to hire extra staff during month end. Okay, peak period for the audit season. Haven't gone to the RPA for audits. There will be, of course, RPA for the external audit and RPA for internal audit. Internal audit is for management audit or, internal audit, management audit. Okay, same thing. So, okay, there'll be a video on that as well. Another issue on that, because usually you can see audit firms during the peak period, they'll start to hire extra people. Okay. And after the audit, the peak period ends, then these people will be let go. So it's probably on a contract basis and it's going to cost the company money. So why don't you just use robots? Okay. And let's see here, compliance and auditability, bots log every action, aiding audits, cost efficiency, cut cost per transaction through automation, of course, standardization, enforces process rules consistently across entities, free up human capacity for higher value analysis and decision making. Okay, we do have these disadvantages. Okay. Bots are not perfect because it's created by us humans. And in terms of unstandardized, or I would say exceptions, we have some, what do you call it, different invoices or issues, there could be different issues coming from these invoices, and the way it's presented on the invoice is not the same as what you program the robot to look for. So they're just not going to process the invoice. It's just going to be rejected. So you as humans, you have to pick up the invoice and post it. Okay, or you have to create a program for it. But the thing is that it's probably a one-off situation. Okay, you sell off an old um, chair or old table, and it's coming up in the transaction that you ask the robot to process it. They say, "Oh, sorry, you never, we never programmed for this to happen. So it's not in the agenda." So they'll just reject that transaction because it's like a one-off, something peculiar, something different. So they just won't process it. But you need to put those transactions through. For example, you sell off your old cabinets, your old office furniture. Okay, you ask the robots to process it, they won't be able to do that because they are trained to process payment invoices, for example. Okay, so they won't know what to do with this. Okay, so this is what you call exception handling. Initial investment requires time and money to develop and maintain bots. This is a lot of money. Only large companies are able to, take up this new investment. And but I would say large companies would see it as a long-term investment. Okay, ERP dependencies, ERP upgrades may disrupt RPA flows. Okay, SAP would have upgrades. Back then, we were using the normal. They call it SAP, and then it upgraded to GSAP, which is the global SAP. We thought that was like the wow SAP back then. Until nowadays, I'm seeing like S4 HANA. Ha ha ha. So you can see like it's upgrading even as we speak. So RPA is not programmed to take in those upgrades. Okay, so they probably can't pick up, like it's not going to match between the new ERP upgrade and the old RPA, because RPA is going to work differently with work properly with the old ERP. Okay, so you have to monitor on that. So humans, you need still be monitoring all this. Okay, limited judgment. Okay, bots don't have judgment because they're not humans. They can't judge. Okay, they only can just process based on what you code them to do. So they cannot make decisions. Okay, or choices. Okay, that's not a bot. We're not talking about AI here. We're talking about bots. Okay, even AI, you have to program that in such a way. Okay, I'm not sure on how you do that, but so far in accounting, we are only programming these bots according to the codes. And then lastly, look at change management. Staff must adapt to new digital workflows and roles. Okay, and there are people who do not want to work with automation. I've seen that firsthand. I've seen that with my former students. I have former students who are willingly to work with automation. They willingly joined the automation team and started to learn coding, coding with computer science and all that, IT, technology, on top of having qualified as ACCA, and they're doing SEMA and all that. So that's really amazing. But I wouldn't say for those who do not want to go into automation, it's not amazing because it's their choice. Okay, maybe they thought like, okay, I've done my ACCA, I'm going to work in this company. I'm doing ERP, so SAP, I've got SAP certification, all that. So that's it. Okay, probably I'm just going to rotate between O2C and P2P, and then R2R, and that's it. I mean, that's my career move. Okay, so you can't blame people. You cannot judge on that. So what as a leader, you need to know what are the preferences of your employees. Okay, and just try to work around that. Now we're going to look at the global examples of R2R enhanced with RPA. Okay, we have Unilever, FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods. Okay, we have the ERP is going to be SAP most likely. RPA tool UiPath. Okay, R2R focus will be journal entries, intercompany reconciliations, and month-end close. So the benefits would have been like automation delivered faster, more compliant, fast financial closing, freed finance teams for higher value analytics and strategy. Okay. Next, Coca-Cola Bottling Company South Africa. So the ERP system will be SAP. RPA tool, Genpact-led automation, R2R coverage is record-to-report. Well, R2R is record-to-report, order to cash, procure to pay. Okay, this is normal. This is the basics. And the benefits will be the 50% automation of FA&A task, invoice processing time half. Well, forecasted cost savings, US 2.5 million. Well, that was the previous data. NZ Bank, ERP multi-ledger environment used in banking. Okay, banking will be a bit tricky because banks are not really, okay, banks will be different, I would say. They would have their own system. Every bank would have their own software. And on top of that, you want them to use ERP. So it's a bit, tricky, but they would want to have RPA. Okay, it would be great for the banks. They don't want to miss out. So the RPA tool is UiPath or Blue Prism. These are off-the-shelf RPA tool. I think you guys can go and go for training on UiPath or Blue Prism. Okay, it's up to you. I mean, I think it's off the shelf. R2R focus, GL reconciliation, exception reporting, ledger validations, benefits, month-end close faster with fewer errors and improved visibility. This is what everyone wants this. Exact ROI figures not publicly shared. Okay, yeah, of course. It's PNC data. The Siemens, ERP multi-entity SAP systems globally, RPA tool, UiPath or Blue Prism. Okay. Intercompany reconciliation will be the automation areas, intercompany reconciliation, journal posting, financial reporting, benefits up to 65% reduction in cycle times, fewer reconciliation errors, improved global close process. And then we have here Vodafone. Okay, the ERP system will be SAP, Oracle, finance system globally. Well, I would say that some companies, they use SAP and Oracle at the same time, but at different locations or different functions, because maybe they're trying to migrate. Okay, so either they're going to migrate from Oracle to SAP or SAP to Oracle. So what's going to happen here is that the situation is going to be a bit tricky. Okay, so here we have the RPA tool, digital finance bots. Okay. Sometimes they don't want to disclose, so don't worry about that. R2R scope, asset accounting, depreciation posting, financial close tasks, benefits, faster close cadence, and improve audit compliance, specific RI, not public. This is normal, they don't want to share. We have Shell Energy, oil and gas, which is part of oil and gas. Okay, we have here the ERP is SAP S/4HANA. Yeah, I mean, it's typical of large multinationals in oil and gas. They would go for the latest one. I would know like which companies would use SAP S/4HANA. I think it would be Jabil, Intel, and Dell. I think, yeah. Well, most companies are going towards S/4HANA. RPA tool will be RPA and ML agents. Okay, I wouldn't worry about the RPA tool. You can get it off the shelf. You can buy off the shelf. You can create your own. Okay, depends on your organization. Okay, sometimes companies start with off the shelf and then eventually they become smart, and they can actually create their own or design their own RPA tool. Okay, I would say like Jabil, what we found out that they have their own RPA tool. Yeah. Okay, R2R automation, intercompany reconciliation, journal adjustments, and global consolidation. Benefits, standardized global financial close, reduce manual intervention, improve compliance. Capgemini, DRP will be client-specific SAP or Oracle instances. Okay, when you see companies having like this situation, SAP/Oracle, and you will see that most companies are trying to migrate from one ERP to the other. So that this is the issue. Okay, but whatever it is still ERP. So it's still up to date because they're using the two large, well-known ERP systems globally. Okay, ERP tool, UiPath, Blue Prism. Okay, these two are the most commonly used off-the-shelf RPA tool, UiPath or Blue Prism. And sometimes they are experimenting between the two and eventually probably creating their own one. Okay. R2R tasks, journal entry processing, accruals, balance sheet substantiation, benefits ranges between 30% to 60% effort reduction in close and reporting tasks for clients. DBS Bank. DBS Bank is Singapore-based regional banking. ERP, ERP system. Okay, this would be like a bit tricky because banks have their own finance systems because like even just look at the ATM machine. Okay, the ATM machine, even look at the online banking system, it's all different. So you can imagine all their ERP systems will be different. Okay, as long as it works. So it's supposed to um, you know I mean the benefit which should shine, okay, across the users. Okay, then we have the RPA tool. IBM deployed RPA bots, OCR. Yeah, OCR already. I guess, most people who doesn't know like OCR, I think after a few of my videos they will know what's OCR, and some would describe it as the robot's eyes. Up to you. Okay. R2R usage, reconciliations, reporting data consolidation, journal automation, benefits 100 processes automated, save 2,500 work hours, enhance scalability across Asia Pacific, India, China, Indonesia. HP. Okay. The ERP would be SAP or Oracle Finance Module. RPA tool UiPath, R2R use cases, revenue recognition validation, ledger reconciliations, benefits, automation of high volume reporting, reduce errors, and manual adjustments. Deloitte, okay, so we have Deloitte Internal Global Finance Automation. So wow, they're using the latest one, okay, SAP S4HANA, okay. And then the RPA tool is the UiPath, is the most common one. And R2R automation, billing, validation, revenue recognition, reconciliation, close checklist bot. Benefits: 85% automation of financial workloads, 90%, 93% clean core ERP slate, and finally 10% faster operational project delivery. Okay, thank you very much. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and see you guys in my next video. Okay, so let me just stop this sharing. Okay, see you guys in my next video. Okay, take care. Bye bye.